What do you do when your plan doesn't work? When things don't go your way? When you encounter obstacles that you could not have foreseen and challenges that seem bigger than what you're capable of? Your ability to come back from a setback, to get up when you get knocked down, to rise above what tried to take you out, your resilience, that's what sets you apart in life and in leadership. Welcome to the Ware Show, a podcast for leaders who want more and won't settle for less. Straight talk to help you lead better, live bolder, and not lose yourself in the process. If you're serious about going to the next level in life and leadership, you're in the right place. Well, hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Ware Show, where we are passionate about growing personally and professionally. We want to be the very best that we can be in every area of life. And so that's what we talk about. That's what we focus on. And I'm glad to have you here with us today for that. This first week of February, and it's hard to believe, 2026 definitely in full swing now. And what that means for a lot of us is that the initial excitement and passion and fire that we brought in to start the new year might be wearing off a little bit. Reality is setting in, and we realize, these lofty visions, the big, hairy, audacious goals that we set for 2026 might be coming a little slower than we thought. They might require a little more of us than we originally thought. And while, of course, I'm a huge proponent for crafting vision and setting goals and dreaming big and all of that, the reality is that it's easy to get going, but it's hard to keep going, right? We all know motivation wears off fast. Energy wanes. Willpower is a diminishing resource. And the fire that got you off the starting line will not fuel you to the finish line. You're going to need something more. You're going to need something bigger, something better, especially when things don't go according to plan. And I don't know about you, but I feel like things rarely go according to plan for me. I'm reminded of Robert Burns, the great Scottish poet of the 1700s, who wrote, "The best laid plans of mice and men go often awry." And pretty sure he wrote that about me. So I think, though, that a lot of people, a lot of leaders actually feel that way, that at some point along the way, they come to this realization of, I did the work. I put this amazing plan together for how I'm going to achieve my objectives and my goals, but nothing went according to that plan. And if that sounds familiar to you, then today's going to help, I think. I remember Mike Tyson saying, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And as you watch this or listen to this in early February or maybe later if you're not catching it right when it was released, maybe you feel that way. Maybe you feel like you got punched in the mouth. It feels like things aren't coming together the way that you had hoped. You had a plan, but things aren't going according to plan. Maybe for you, it feels like 2026 is already off to a rough start, or maybe like it's getting away from you somehow. Maybe you've already encountered some difficulties, some challenges, some setbacks that you were not anticipating. You're only a month or two in and you feel like you're already on your back foot. A couple of the people I'm working with right now actually are encountering that. I've got one who's a real estate developer, and there's a major deal that they're trying to get closed that's been on pause for almost a year now, worth millions of dollars. Supposed to close last spring, and then it got moved to the summer, and then it got moved to the fall, and then there was the government shutdown, and then Small Business Administration had a backlog with how they were processing things, and so then it was going to be end of the year to clear it off the books, and now here it is February, and it's still not done. Okay, things are not going according to plan for them. A friend of mine who had a growth plan for his business, very aggressive, and things were so good in Q3 and Q4, so very aggressive coming into Q1 of this year. And somehow he's found himself having lost more clients in the last 60 days than gaining them. So he's actually going backwards. I've talked to a lot of leaders who felt that way about all of 2025 in general. Like this was just a year that kept punching them in the mouth. Nothing went the way it was supposed to. Things got delayed. There were unexpected obstacles. Costs went up, you name it. So if that's you and you're in this things are not going according to plan season of life or leadership, what we're going to talk about today, I think, is going to help you and encourage you. If it's not you, then It's just not you yet, okay? Because I promise, I guarantee, I can absolutely assure you 100%, it's inevitable. You will hit that point at some point because we all do. Things do not, will not, cannot always go right. Okay, that's just a fact. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. This is just, real talk. Okay, things don't always go right. In fact, there are never two consecutive good days in the life of a leader. Okay, that's John Maxwell wisdom right there. So if you had a good day today, you can bank on it. Tomorrow is going to bring a new challenge, a new obstacle, a new problem. That is the life of a leader. Which means that an essential skill for anyone who wants to grow, whether it's personally or professionally, but especially for those of us who are in some kind of leadership role in our lives, is we have to develop the skill of resilience. And that's what we're going to talk about today. The older I get, the longer I do this, the more I think about it, I believe that resilience is one of the most important skills or character traits or mindsets that we can develop because it's one that we're going to have to use. We're going to have to come back to over and over and over again throughout our lives. And the reason we need resilience is precisely because things don't always go right. Okay, if everything went right, we wouldn't need resilience. Okay, if everything went right, then there wouldn't be setbacks. There wouldn't be these unforeseen challenges or unexpected problems that we encounter. If you could account for everything that needed to be accounted for, then everything would always go exactly according to the plan. You wouldn't have delays. You wouldn't hit brick walls. There wouldn't be cost overruns. There wouldn't be uncooperative team members. There wouldn't be, compliance snags and customer complaints and vendor issues and morale problems and culture problems and all of that. And I don't know about you, but for my life and for my leadership, that is never how it's worked out. Okay. For all my preparation and planning and strategy, and I'd like to think that I'm pretty good at those things, and you probably are too, things just have not always worked out the way that I thought they would. And so what I've learned is that as much as I want to be right, what I really need to be is resilient. The best leaders aren't always right. The best leaders are always resilient. They aren't always right in terms of what they thought or how they planned or what they anticipated or how they budgeted, but they're always resilient in the face of setbacks and adversity and challenges and obstacles. Listen, your success in life and in leadership depends more on you being resilient than on you being right. And that's why I want to talk about this now at this time of year, because this is either something that you need right now, or like I said, you're going to need it soon. So it's important to talk about. Resilience is a word that obviously we're familiar with, right? A lot of people talk about it, but I think not a lot of people really know what it means. And that may be because it's one of those words that's easier to describe than it is to define. Resilience can be described as elasticity, right? Like a rubber band. It's the ability to return to your original form after you get stretched to the limit. It could be described as buoyancy, like when you're trying to, hold a beach ball under the water, and it's the ability to bounce back up and recover from, illness or adversity or change or whatever it is. Resilience could also be described as adaptability, the ability to adjust to new challenges and circumstances. It could be described as perseverance, the ability to keep going in the face of difficulty or hardship or setback. Okay, resilience really is how you bounce back when you've been beat down. It's how you come back when you've been crushed down. It's how you get back when you've gone down. Resilience is not about the absence of problems. It's about the ability to overcome problems. It's not about never having issues. It's just about rising above those issues. It's not about never taking a hit. It's about learning how to hit back. The reality is that everyone gets knocked down, but only resilient people get back up. So the question is not, did you get knocked down? The question is, will you get back up? And I know maybe that sounds cliche or it sounds trite, but this is a real thing, because I think a lot of people get back up on the outside, but they're still knocked down on the inside. They get up and dust themselves off and they put a smile on their face and they act like they're fine and they keep going. And while that might be part of it, I'm advocating for something more than that. We've reduced resilience to perseverance. Someone has a setback, but they keep going anyway, and we call it resilience. No. Resilience is perseverance, but it's not just perseverance. Resilient isn't just that you keep going, it's that you keep growing. It's having this internal fortitude, this inner strength, this perspective and posture that says, I'm getting better through this. I'm learning lessons. I'm growing in my abilities. I'm gaining more skills. That hurt me, but I see how it's helping me. That was painful, but it was also providential. I'm coming back bigger. I'm coming back better. I'm coming back stronger. I'm achieving something greater than I ever would have otherwise. Resilience is not just going through it. Resilience is growing through it. You went through a divorce and you're leveraging that experience to build better relationships with your kids, to get healthier in your mind and your heart, to rebuild your finances and your future. You went through a bankruptcy in your business and you're leveraging that experience to learn what went wrong, how to adjust your business practices and to rebuild a new business that's more successful, that's more profitable, that makes more impact than the one you had before. You experience an injury that sidelines you from your favorite activities or exercises, and you go through rehab and you go to PT and you're slowly building back so that now you can lift more weight, you can run further distances, you can do more than you were doing before. Okay, that's the kind of resilience that I'm talking about. That's the kind of resilience you need in your life and in your leadership. Why? Because the alternative means that you never get to the next level. The alternative is that you go through something really difficult and you either quit, which is not who you are, okay? You're not a quitter. I may not know you personally, but if you're the kind of person who watches or listens to this show, to this type of content, then I know you're not the quitting type. Or maybe it's not so much that you quit on the outside, but you quit on the inside, okay? You're still going through the motions, and I think this happens for a lot of people. They're still going through the motions, but there's no longer any motivation. You're still doing the right things, but you've stopped expecting anything to move, anything to improve, anything to change. Okay, the quiet quitting epidemic has not stopped, but it has shifted. It was in the rank and file workforce, but now it's happening in the leadership. Leaders are the ones who have given up hope that they can really move things forward, that their organization can really grow, that what they do will make any significant impact on their market or in the world. They've come too far to quit working on the outside, but they've quit hoping on the inside. And the reason why is because they have not developed this muscle, this skill set, this trait of resilience. They've not honed the skill of knowing how to bounce back, how to come back, how to get up and fight back. Resilience is learning how to leverage the worst things that could have ever happened to you into the best things that could have ever happened for you. So if you're facing some setbacks, if you've got some challenges, some obstacles in your life or in your leadership right now, I want to give you some things that are going to help you develop this skill, this character quality of resilience this year. And if you don't need it right now, just save it. Just bookmark this show, this podcast, because I promise you're going to need it at some point. Okay, I'm going to call this the road to resilience. These are steps you can take that will help you develop this in your life, the road to resilience. And these things are going to sound simple, and I don't at all mean them to come off as reductionist, okay? It's not like you're just going to do A, B, and C, and then you're good to go. No, this is a process. This is going to take practice and work and time and all of that, okay? This is a skill that you're developing in a new way or at a new level. So I'm not trying to oversimplify this, but I do want to give you a framework that you can start seeing this process through, okay? The road to resilience. Number one is the word accept. Accept. I think most leaders, and I'm going to include myself in this because I'm like this too, most leaders, we have a difficult time accepting that something has gone wrong. We don't want to accept the fact that we got knocked down, that we suffered a setback, that we took a hit. And so we try to explain it away or dismiss it or discount it or whatever. Listen, nobody lies like leaders. We lie to ourselves all the time. We try to convince ourselves that things are better than they really are, that the problems will magically go away, that we've got it all under control, that this thing isn't really a thing. But here's the problem. The longer we fake it, the longer it takes to fix it. Look, it's okay to get knocked down. It's not okay to be knocked down and think that you're still standing up. You cannot learn resilience if you cannot look at reality. You've got to accept it. If you don't know when you're down, you're not going to know when you're up. Lying to yourself is not resilience. It's ridiculous. You have to accept the reality of what's going on in your life and what's going on in your leadership. So if you want to walk this road to resilience, this is step one, is you have to accept it. Number two is the word adjust. Adjust. If you're going to become a resilient person, a resilient leader, then you have to learn how to adjust. You have to learn how to pivot. You have to learn how to course correct, how to flex as the conditions on the ground change and circumstances maybe look different than you expected. Okay, you have to accept it first, because if you don't accept it, then you're not going to be honest enough with yourself that you know you need to adjust it. Okay, but once you accept it, then you have to adjust to it. The best sports teams are not the ones who perfectly map out the game ahead of time and then execute everything according to plan. The best teams are the ones who make the best adjustments at halftime. Why? Because no matter how good the plan was, the game never goes the way you planned. So once you've seen what you're up against in real time, it's not your ability to stick to the plan that creates the biggest impact. It's your ability to adjust accurately to the real world conditions you're facing. Sometimes leaders struggle with this. They're so in love with the plan that they just put their head down and they try to force their way through it, and they make life a whole lot harder on themselves and on the people around them. Listen, improvising is not compromising. Don't get so stuck on your plan that you refuse to change it in the face of a challenge. Don't dig in and just think that sticking to the plan is you being strong. Okay, it might not be strong, it might just be stupid. Resilience requires you to bend so that you don't break. And if you're going to walk this road to resilience, you have to accept what's happening. You have to be willing to adjust to it. And number three is the word arise. Accept, adjust, and arise. And I use this word arise because what I want to do is evoke that classical mythological image of the phoenix rising from the ashes, the quintessential picture or metaphor of what resilience really looks like. It's the idea that even in the face of an absolutely devastating event in your life or your leadership or your family, your finances, your health, whatever it might be, you really can rise up from that again. You can recreate. You can reinvent. You can reimagine. You can rebuild. You can be reborn. You can arise. People who really go to high levels in life and leadership hold on to this belief that no matter what, they can arise. Too many people are trying to not get knocked down, but the truth is that getting knocked down isn't the problem. Not getting back up is the problem. Don't focus on never going down. Focus on always getting back up. Just because you got knocked down doesn't mean you have to stay down. Okay, going down happens by chance. Getting up happens by choice. You can arise. In fact, the very best leaders I know, the very best leaders you know, I promise, if you were to stop and think about it and talk to them about it, they all have stories of getting knocked down really hard. They've been through the bankruptcies and the foreclosures and the lawsuits and divorces and cancer treatments and tax bills and employees stealing from them and on and on and on. They have crazy stories of getting knocked down, but they didn't stay down. Their resilience is what led them to recover and rebuild and reimagine life in a way that was even better after the difficulty than it was before, as crazy as that sounds. Accept it, adjust to it, arise from it. That's the road to resilience. And again, I don't mean to oversimplify this. You don't snap your fingers and just, go out of here, 1, 2, 3, and you're there, right? It's not a formula, but it is a framework. And I want you to have this mindset for how you build and develop and strengthen this critical skill of resilience, because this really can make all the difference in how you go through this year and how you grow in your life and in your leadership. The road to resilience: accept, adjust, arise. I hope this has helped you. I know these are things for me that I have to constantly be reminding myself of and bringing myself back to adjust and adapt and arise so that I can have the kind of resilience that I really want to have. And I'd like to ask you for a favor today. If you know someone who could use this content, would you share it with them? Shoot them the link, use the share button on whatever platform you're on, copy and paste it into a text, whatever it is. But the best thing you can do as a leader is help other people get better. So let's get this out to more people and help more people grow in life and in leadership. If you want to connect with me, you can find me at themattware.com and also at themattware on all the social channels. And I'd love to hear from you there. Shoot me a DM or a comment there, and we can connect. Go walk this road to resilience, and until next time, go lead better and go live bolder.